I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Bogdan Aurescu, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Romania.
Mr. President, Romania commends the U.S. initiative to convene a UN Security Council open debate on this timely topic, especially in the current dire circumstances generated by the brutal, unjustified and unprovoked illegal military aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. Romania is the NATO and EU member state sharing the largest border with Ukraine. We have been in the front line in terms of responding to the humanitarian crisis caused by the invasion. Since the beginning of the war, more than 1 million refugees have crossed the Ukrainian-Romanian border, and the humanitarian support offered by Romania has been very consistent. A humanitarian hub for the collection and distribution of international humanitarian aid is functioning since March near the Romanian-Ukrainian border. We also responded to international requests to facilitate aid for Ukraine. For example, we promptly answered the World Food Programme request to establish a presence in Romania to facilitate emergency aid to Ukraine. The consequences of this irrational war are multidimensional, and the need for ensuring food security becomes clearer every day. We are already facing production and export challenges and rising prices. Food and energy import bills are already at record levels. In an environment reeling from high levels of socio-economic stress, the increase in food prices might generate effects such as social unrests, as it affects mostly people with low income. There is no better time for considerable action to be taken to address food insecurity. It is crucial to stress the importance of food systems for the progress on climate, development, finance and other global priorities. The grain market is already severely affected following the Russian aggression against Ukraine, given the market share of the two countries in the world trade in grain and seeds. The response of the UN and the international financial institutions is essential to ensure global food security. As an immediate response to this challenge, the Romanian authorities are facilitating the transit of products from Ukraine to the ports of Galați on Danube River and Constanța, the largest port at the Black Sea. Romania is in one of the best geographic positions to act as a transit and export hub in this context. We are looking at all possible solutions in order to ensure better access to Romanian ports on Danube River and Constanța port at the Black Sea. Since the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Constanța has become the main gateway for Ukrainian grain shipments to the outside world. So far, over 240,000 tons of grain have been exported from Ukraine to the port of Constanța. I am using this opportunity to stress the need for wider international efforts, such as a coalition of the willing, to mobilize as much support as possible for the creation of a transport corridor, including maritime, for Ukrainian products, especially grain, to third destinations, including by using routes through Romania, such as the port of Constanța. Among other measures of support, Romanian authorities have also liberalized transport conditions for Ukrainian exports, especially for agricultural products. Thus, Romania is a relevant contributor to the regional and global stability and food security by supporting the export of the Ukrainian grain to those in need. As an example of our further engagement, Romania will be hosting, starting in 2023, a regional agro-meteorological center for Europe, as approved by the World Meteorological Organization. The main goal of the center is to support sustainable agricultural production, and it will play an important role in the regional efforts for climate change adaptation. Mr. President, on the Russia's allegations that we have just heard in this hall, that there is a so-called deal between the West and Ukraine to deliver weapons for grain, let me recall that it is not for the first time that Russia is issuing such totally false accusations. For instance, on May 1st, the Russian Defense Ministry stated that Ukraine was massively exporting grain through Romanian roads, rail and on Danube in exchange of weapons and ammunition. The Romanian Ministry of Defense dismissed promptly these statements as false and gross manipulations of the reality. Our future decisions, Mr. President, and actions need to aim at building safe, secure, accessible and sustainable food systems at global level. It is crucial that all of us make an enhanced global commitment towards the One Health approach. We do believe that only through strong commitment to action from world governments, the private sector and civil society, we can achieve the SDGs and create a more resilient and sustainable world. Thank you.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Aurescu for his statement.